Hello, welcome to the round 17 review. After the Blues, they lose. First time in a while. 16 goals, 8, 104 to 18 goals, 8, 116. At the hands of the GWS Giants at NG Stadium, Saturday night. It's quite incredible how footy never ceases to amaze me. That game last night and the way it all played out, just a really nice, timely reminder that just when you think you might have it figured out, footy will come and humble you and smack you around and shock you into realizing that the unknown always wins. And that's what I think the story of last night was. I was pretty sure we were going to get a great effort from the Giants. Going into the match, their form line wasn't great, to be honest. The last time that they looked really, truly like themselves was probably the last time we played them. And so, they found themselves in a bit of a patch, whatever it was. So I was confident that they were going to show up and give us a really good game. Didn't expect them to do it after we looked borderline perfect, though. That was the shock to me. So, the rules away from home, you've got to get... not that there's a major crowd advantage for the home side when you play the Giants. It doesn't quite have that feel about it just yet. But you've got to start well away from home, get the game on your terms. It's some of the best football we've seen. We've seen patches of this team now, turn it on. We've seen them, the Carlton that is. We've seen them absorb in game, and then just turn it on and sort of. We've spoken about managing the four quarters. Last night kind of reminded me a bit of 2022, given how forceful we started, and you're never going to complain when you kick that many goals in a quarter and you start like that. It just felt like everything was clicking. It was more of a continuation of what we had seen. It was hard to believe how good we looked early on, to be honest. Harry's kicked 3, Williams has kicked 3, Chera's kicked a beautiful goal on his left. It was almost too good to be true. It was almost too easy. It was like we had discovered the best version of ourselves. De Koning dominant, and you go into quarter time, and honestly, I was thinking, wow, are we really about to just roll into GWS and come away with another 10-goal win? And then this is where you just have to give full credit to the opposition, because for the Giants to turn around that game the way that they did, starting in that second quarter, getting their running game going, and really exposing the fact that, if you have burst and power through the legs against Carlton, we are susceptible. And it's the second time I've seen it look like that. First time being Sydney. And the Giants, full credit. It was incredible to watch. I know that we're Carlton, and Carlton's the best, and I understand all of that. But you have to absorb it from a football lens. They were so impressive, the Giants. Yeah. The disappointing part for us was that we couldn't stem it. We didn't have an ability to stem the flow after finding so much confidence in the way that we were playing. And I guess, that'll be the discussion for the week. Like, what happened? What's the story? Like, what went on? Was there a comfort zone that was reached? Was there a collective understanding that, wow, we've just found our peak. We've just found what our best looks like in the first quarter, and just subconsciously allowed ourselves to believe that the game had been won. Going back to what I said at the start of the video, 10, 15, 20 minutes of the wrong mentality in this game and you get done. It's amazing. it's really hard to be switched on and focused for 4 quarters. So, when that doesn't happen and you have an opposition who weren't willing to concede, and then all of a sudden you started watching the Giants find themselves again, and once they found themselves, they were not letting go of it. Game swung back onto their terms. We're up by 2 at halftime. It was literally a tale of 2 quarters. Meltdowns ensuing. Then the third quarter, I think the third quarter is where that was the most disappointing for me. I mean, obviously the second quarter wasn't great, but the third quarter, I thought, all right, would have been nice to see them respond mid-quarter, which I thought they did after Cripps' second goal. But you get to halftime, like, okay, well, we've seen this before. We'll just regroup, get back out there and go again. But it wasn't to be. I mean, Jesse Hogan took a number of really incredible contested marks. At times, I was disappointed that I felt like there wasn't enough body on him to sort of stifle his run at the footy. At times, there was a frustration with the midfield and how he allowed the ball to enter the way it did. End of the day, the guy's taken that many contested marks and really just forced us to think about what's the matchup like. And I felt a little bit of that last night. I felt there were a few matchups which I could see we didn't want to make the change because you want to back in the players. I mean, to be fair, they've done so well over the last month and a bit, and really most of the season. You want to sort of back them in to get their jobs done. But yeah, Hogan got to a point where Jesse Hogan was he was far too dominant of a force for us, and it was what it was. Briggs ended up. You could almost tell that he felt a personal attack, from what happened the last time we played the Giants. And I thought what we did to Briggs did to us, particularly in the second half. And he just got a hold of Tom, and it was a good battle. Tom had his moments. But Briggs was just a complete force, and yeah. Then I started seeing a few signs where just unlike us then I started seeing some signs which were just unlike us of late, particularly this year. Nobody gets a hand to Tom Green's shot on goal on the line. Like, really strange. The Giants 10 straight inside 50s. Again, no body contact on Jesse Hogan's mark in that third, kicks a goal. At this point, the Giants were up by 24, and I was like, what's going on here? The game was so far in our control, and now it's really out of our control. Really felt probably late in that third quarter, like we just needed Pito just for 10 minutes, just to stem what was happening at contest. The Giants, it got abusive. They completely abused us. They kicked 8 in a row at one point. Then Cumming kicks another one. They're up by 35. Matt Kennedy took our 5th mark inside 50 in the third quarter with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go. The previous 4 were all in the first quarter. That sort of painted a picture in itself there. He missed that shot on goal. Then Briggs completely loses TDK, goes forward, takes a mark. He misses. Harry takes a shot on goal after a 50-metre penalty, kicks a goal, and that was the first time we saw a goal kicked in 46 minutes. Then there was that 12-point swing I thought was a real telling sign that maybe it was just too far out of reach. Zach Williams tried to assess his options going inside 50, just got a little caught up and lost. Turnover. Giants ended up kicking a goal. I think it was to Hogan. Kemp went to spoil. He spoiled Hogan. They called a free kick. That's right. Now, the fourth quarter is important. I spoke about it and I asked some of you on the fan cams last night, but I did think the fourth quarter was important. The results obviously important. You want to get the win, but the way in which you go about it is crucial. And so I think the ability for the side to not just succumb to it, you can make a case the game was dead and buried at some point in that third quarter, maybe even earlier than that. So to come and not just make a game of it, but just to really dial in on the fact that even when it's completely gone balls up and it's completely out of your favour and you've completely mismanaged the game and just lost it, you've got to find something, you've got to keep at it. And so I was pleased with the way in which we finished. Some people didn't care too much about it. Interested, now that we've had a bit of a sleep, what do you think about the way they closed out? Does it matter to you that they do that? Because I do think that is an important factor of a side that wants to be great. And that's that. I think it's a timely kick up the arse, to be honest. And just a reminder that, when you think you've got it figured out, that is where you are most susceptible. That, when you think you have reached what you need to reach, when you think, you are there, it's so important to continue to self-reflect, have that self-awareness and find more ways to evolve, because life and the game of footy, it'll just go straight past you in a blink of an eye. And, these are harsh lessons, but for us, we need to learn that lesson, because the reality is, we're all building towards this, hopefully this great charge to September. Once that happens, the form line goes out the window, and once you get to an elimination game, anything can happen. And 15, 20 minutes of football can have you lose an elimination game, and you can win 15, 16, 17 games in a season, and that be unbelievably exciting, and then just like that it can be done. So that's the important lesson that I felt straight away, and the reminder, and that's why timing's so important. You've got to time your run. I mean, you've got to be in form all the time, but you've got to time your run. You've got to learn your lessons. And I felt a little bit of that last night. So, hopefully it was the timely reminder that we needed. We step into round 18 next week. We're in, I don't want to say it, but I think we are. We're in the home stretch, just about. And, we've got to make sure that we sharpen that up, because finals will be a different ball game. Everything elevates. There is a reality now that if you can run and carry the way and, link up an overlap run against Carlton, that is something that can hurt us. And so we have to be able to stop that or manage that, because you're never going to have the game on your terms for 4 quarters. But yeah, it's. I think this will be good for us. I'm not too worried. I'm not panicking, because I think, we've got more than a capable group to figure it out. We've got a healthy amount of selection headaches to come. We've got a, touch wood at this point, a relatively healthier list than what we've seen this season. So yeah, a bit more synergy. I guess the conversation also I'm going to ask as well, what do you think? Selection was a big talking point. Did we go a little bit too far away from who we were last night in terms of, the contest side of the game and the pressure? George Hewitt was a talking point last night. Not sure if there's something going on there and they're just managing him, getting his body right, and they saw an opportunity. I know that he was a sub last week, and then we had a pretty solid break before that. But I thought it was a bit, un-Carlton-like to do that. I saw the chat about, this is the team that got us up by 40 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, but there's 4 quarters of football. And once the game settles down, you've got to go back to your contest. You're not going to be playing ballistic football like the first quarter for 4 quarters. I don't think that's going to happen very often at all. So what do you think about selection? What do you think about just how it all played out? And can someone please explain to me how unlucky and what do we need to do to stop getting corkies, particularly Jacob Wiedering? It's just they're just these collisions. The knee. This one was to the hip. I really felt that 20-minute patch where he was off, we didn't adjust to him not being there. Guys were playing their roles, but then Wiedering wasn't there to come across and spoil. So yeah, share with us in the comments your themes and issues from the game. And, we'll wrap it up and go from there. Turn it around, review it, and then just gear up for round 18. See you soon. Go Blues.